Local productions on QTV are made possible with support from viewers like you. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Junia Doan's The Spark. I'm Junia Doan. Thank you for joining us. Today we'll be talking with mezzo-soprano Alicia Hall Moran. Alicia made her debut as Bess in the national tour production of Porgy and Bess. Her transcendent voice ranges from jazz to solos with symphonies. She released her critically praised album, Heavy Blue, in 2016. Welcome, Alicia. I'm so happy you're here.
Thank you.
Not being a singer myself, I've always wondered, what are the joys of singing versus performing for you in particular?
Singing is about the body. And the sound we get is kind of the gift from the movement in the body, a cause and effect. So I move and something comes out, and then I get to enjoy that result. So for me, singing is a process of kind of getting to hear on the outside how I feel on the inside, how I'm doing today. I can make a sound, listen, and I know how I'm doing today. And we go from there.
Can you do it in reverse if you want to change what you're feeling inside? Can you sing and change yourself from A to B?
I think that inasmuch as singing allows me to remember, yes. So I like to sing at events for people who are trying to do good things. I've sung at rallies. I've sung to raise money for people. I've sung to celebrate lifetimes. I've done a lot of my early singing, like most singers who work in a legitimate or classical style. You sing so many weddings and so many funerals.
Yes.
Starting out, that's kind of your first big professional
opportunity.
And it's a great form of school to sing for people's important celebrations and to sing for people who are grieving and to sing for people who are celebrating, because you have to hit what I would call a true note.
What is the true note?
True note is not fake. So I could put on being happy, but if it doesn't make the people who hear it feel happy, then it's not true. I could sing the praises of someone in an ode style or sing an anthem, but in those kinds of songs, if people cannot understand any of the words, it's completely ineffective and it's inauthentic. If you're going to send troops out for a cause or even just, hey, we're about to get in the car and take a 6-hour car trip together, guys. Let's sing our song the way we do, my family, the way we come together in song. If it doesn't seem person to person,
yes.
You wouldn't take it as a stereotype. Well, she's in my television set and she meant something nice, so I'll feel good about whatever that mumble was. You just need to hear me. It's exactly that, and it's just that plain and just that simple. So classical, Broadway, jazz, R&B, whatever have you, we are trying to communicate, but not for our own glory, really to make you feel something, feel what we want you to feel.
So let me just refine what I'm trying to say. If you're feeling blue and you have to be upbeat, do you sing before to bleed that out, the blueness, or can you just say, I understand that I'm not feeling great, but now I'm going to the great side of feeling and I'm going to do it so they really feel it? What say do you, or do your own personal experiences have in the moment for you?
I love that, because when I sing, when I feel blue, I actually take the time to feel worse. It's a real permission that you allow in a song. You look at song lyrics, they might be 2 paragraphs, but the song would take 5 minutes because every syllable you are getting inside. You're going inside. And so I actually get to experience the feeling more. I think that's what it means to be in touch with yourself. You can get in touch. You really have the vibrations. And then having the full expression, you tend to feel better because
Yes.
you're having a release. It's like getting a hug when you, and then the exhale, the tension cease up. Or with a baby who's crying, you pick it up and you look into their eyes. They can never be consoled, you know, with a remote control rocker from far away.
Yes.
They could maybe be put to sleep. You could prolong the resolution. But to really get a sense of security, which is what we want from the music, you have to come in touch with it and spend some time. So I sing a blues, I sing, you know, the music of Porgy and Bess is so wonderful for this, because even in the bright music, there's the blues. The blues makes you feel good because it reminds you that unless it actually kills you, it's not going to kill you. You're going to be okay.
Talk a little bit about that. I'd be interested in your thoughts on that.
Well, I think, you know, in the way I feel about it, none of us knows what death is.
Yes.
Which is why we can have so many songs and poems and speeches about it, because, and practices that prepare for it and soothe people before it and after experiencing the death of someone else, because it's really just the biggest mystery.
Yes.
And we all know, though, assuredly, that we're going to experience it.
Yes.
Death is the most sure and the most mysterious. And that's what singing is. It's the most sure. Oh, you know I made some sounds, but you don't know where it is. It's not anywhere.
I feel the vibrations of just what you did.
Vibration?
I mean, it's not only the sound, but I felt the vibrations.
Oh.
Do you like that?
I love that. I love that. And I talk a lot. So I think sometimes people think I'm not a good listener, but I'm actually usually listening by making a vibration, almost like a feedback.
Let's say more about that.
Well, like, so I was talking,
right.
And then you said, let's say more about it. I just hear the rhythm of the way that you punctuated what I was doing and where I was doing it. And I know for me, I'm kind of using my casual, sure voice in somewhere about in the middle here.
Right.
I want to hear my chest, but I don't want to drop into anything because I'm not in agony. I just, you know, want to keep it high and light and pleasant. And you say, well, that tells me perk up, wake up, right? I hear your specificity. I feel you in this way. So for me, I think talking is kind of like a blanket that I'm just laying down, actually waiting for people to come into.
How do you feel about being interrupted?
You know what?
What?
I need it. It's almost required. I think I'm kind of like, I gotta say, I'm a pretty good mom. And I have twin boys.
Right.
So I have many, many, many tapes at home of me practicing something at the piano, and they're just on either side of me, like talking to me, talking to each other, doing their play with their action figures and fake cooking and pretending to edit a newspaper, and they all around me. And I don't ever hear that play. I never hear it while I'm doing it. It helps me to focus because it's real. It's real. Mm-hmm. And I have made work about my life as a woman who wants to be a good mother and a good wife, but kind of wondering, what is that in the 21st century, really? and to keep going with my music, but then I hear the buzzer on the dryer in my mind. And I have to go get the clothes, or else the neighbor's gonna put their clothes in there and then they'll be all over the place. But still, I'm like practicing Mozart. It's just kind of all happening compound, the experience of being a family person and having my kids in my life and just so pressingly, insistently upon my art time, you know, with their lives.
But that means you edit well, because when you're with me, it's a duet.
Yeah.
So I went like this and you said, oh, better. But when you're in practice, it isn't a duet, even though you're hearing, except for the right-over sounds like the buzzer. So you edit well. I think we learn a lot about people by their energies around them.
Definitely.
And I'm sure when you do a role, that has some say, the energy the other person brings to it, as well as their acting ability and
yes.
Yeah, interesting. And for the audience as well.
I think so. You know, my mother is an editor and a publisher. So I really grew up with her, watching her. You know, this was like in the 80s and the 90s. So she would have just paper, just people's books that they'd been working on their whole lives, stacks of manuscript this high, single-sided, double-spaced, and watch her and just take whole chunks of people's lives and just put it in
elsewhere,
because they can do better.
Yes.
And she then would go to somewhere towards the middle, like a magician with the card, like which card, and she would know, right here is where the story begins. Right here is where it ends, but I need to know this, to feel this. My mom, she just can, she's a surgeon of time.
I love that.
She really is. And so I've never, ever, ever been afraid, and it has gotten me in trouble, but I have never, ever been afraid to take a whole thing and just...
Doesn't work.
Toss it. Because also it's just sitting right there in a scramble. You can go back and get those little bits if you want them. It's such a first step to erase and move away. Like with the blues. It doesn't, the blues in history haven't gone anywhere. I open my mouth, I can get there very quickly. So I don't need to stay there long, because I can go right back. In and out. Right. That thing.
That's a facility. That's what we all need to learn. I mean, in this case, singing, but also in life.
Yes.
Yes.
I think so.
Now, you were a student briefly of Martina Arroyo. What did you learn? What was the takeaway of that experience?
So great. Martina Arroyo, I get excited, right? So I lost some control of my voice there, because I bubble up for amazingness. And that woman is amazing. So to have the kind of career that she had, and to sing in Madame Butterfly, you know, they paint your face. So here's a woman in a cultural product, opera, at a time in American history that is incredibly illustratively rough. I don't think that's a word. But, you know, she's like literally breaking down barriers with herself. And these are people who are well-meaning, and there's still the barriers. So she is the object of the change in history, but then she goes in and portrays yet another culture and brings so much to it because of her understanding and her sensitivity to what it feels like to be on the outside looking in, to put on the clothes of somebody else and what acting is really supposed to be about, and to not take it lightly. This is a huge responsibility. And so when she puts on the clothes of a teacher for us, like I'm just seeing Met, glorious diva, a woman who I only would see on an insert of an album, you know? And then here she's in the flesh, and she is funny, and she is nice. I mean, with a person like that, you can use really the kind of the dumb words, the second grade words, because that's how purely she manifests those things. She is funny. She is nice. She is cool. She is happy. And this is not an easy life. She's had a grand life.
Yes.
But yet, what comes to the top is the joie de vivre. Like, she is here to live and to be in the space with you.
How would you like to be like her?
How would I like to be like her?
Yes, which aspect?
Oh my goodness. I think her capacity for caring is something that I could stretch. So right now, I'm in a time when I'm making a lot of many different projects all the time. And her, with her Prelude to Performance program, which is the opera training program that I got to participate in, she has kind of taken on the role of like a king or a queen. Mm-hmm. It takes a lot of money.
Yes.
You have to know your friends and fundraise and
Yes.
invite people really to support something that is really just a vision, right? It's a vision, and these young people are going to make these sounds, and it's going to make you feel better. It's such a kind of a gamble that people get involved with supporting art. And she can do it. She
It's
can
the
get that for
American
people.
way to be entrepreneurial, to have a dream.
Yeah.
And then try and live it, you know.
I think so.
Yes.
I don't know.
Oh, it is.
I believe you.
You should believe me. Not for everybody,
Yeah.
but you know, if you have that spirit and you have that vision and you're willing to put the work in, you have a very good chance. Anywhere. I mean, the music world you're familiar with, but I'm familiar with other worlds, and I've seen it play out
Yes.
over and over and over. And sometimes people who deserve to succeed don't, for odd other reasons. But there's off camera, I can tell you lots and lots of stories that aren't really germane to our interview, but be encouraged. And I really want you to feel good, and I know you do.
Yeah.
And I think that there are lessons from your mother and lessons from her that you're passing on to your boys. What in specific comes to mind?
Well, my mother said, I said, Mom, I'm not sure if I can raise these people. I'm not exactly, they're boys, I don't know any boys, right? She said, your only responsibility as a parent is to raise a person you can stand to live in the house with.
Cute.
Done. That's all I need. That's
Yes.
all I need. You're welcome. Thank you.
Yes.
Excuse me, you got it all, the food, all over.
Yes.
Bathing. Mommy has to work. Can you please make yourself a sandwich? Cooking. Why are you crying? Oh, because he punched me in the face. Here's how not to get punched in the face.
How?
Don't
Punch
say
first.
that. I think the incident was he pointed out someone's shortcoming in front of another group of boys.
Brought it on.
And the boy panicked, and he just went towards the mouthpiece of the criticism. And that's a real thing, and I'm trying to teach my boys to be honest and to have opinions and to advocate for themselves
But
and
be respectful.
definitely advocate for their friends. But, well, I don't know. This is a tricky time for respect right here.
I'd be interested in your point of view.
Well, because, you know, most often, I've always felt this, when people say kind of like, give me my respect, or I am worthy of respect. Anytime they're self-referencing the respect that others should have for them, they're kind of already caught up in something that isn't in the kingdom of respect. This is difficult. So I think now, because the meaning of words can get lost easily for people, because we're typing, and even myself, I'm so guilty of it. The word amazing. Everything's
It's a positive word. We start there. Well, I want to say a word about respect. Respect actually is not what you ask for, it's what you earn. And respect is something you actually give someone else.
Yes.
It isn't what you ask for yourself,
That's
ever. So that's anyway my value system right there. But just moving back to singing, the training, it just seems it never ends. The acting side, the singing, what is your regime for that?
Honesty to myself first, always, without exception. Once you begin lying to yourself, your connection to your voice is already off by a beat. There's already a thing in the track which is rattling, or a tick on the clock which it's starting to skip. Once you start skipping yourself, you're going to lose your line, your track.
Yes, I hear you.
Yeah, many voice teachers talk about the thread or the ribbon, or pull the ribbon, or suck the spaghetti, or, you know, many, many different metaphors for it. But it's really about connection, whether it's spinal connection or connection to what's this song about. Is it happy or sad? You know, it's all about staying connected.
So would you study with a voice teacher continually, or are you self-corrective to this point?
Yeah, I've had the best voice teachers in the world, and I've had so many, and they tell you not to do this, but for my kind of personality, I had to have just a ton.
Right.
Like, I had so many.
You absorb quickly.
I don't know what they would say, but I would have a teacher, and they would lead me to something.
Yes.
And then I would be there, and then I would meet someone or hear something, or they would get me through the door. So I had a teacher, Lynn Owen, who got me into Manhattan School of Music.
Right.
Just got me there, right?
How important is mentors? I read so much about this in life, and
everything. I don't think it's possible to do anything without one. Like, the baby bear is going to get ed up without somebody to teach slowly the which and the way. Now, on some of those films, the bear is like, baby bear. Ugh. And on other of the films, they get this nice footage of, you know, picking the little.
Yes.
So, I don't know. I think it's part of human experience to.
And satisfaction.
Deal with
which side you're on.
the cards you got. But there's nothing that I've ever read anywhere that says that you can't make a kingdom of piles of sand.
Right.
And nothing that.
It's what you declare it, too.
Yeah, that your glorious golden palace can't come down on your head. There's just nothing separating those outcomes, and there's nothing to say that you're born with this, you get this. And the way I grew up, there's too much evidence that that is not true. If you walk to school every day, you're not going to be the kid who crashes their brand new car into a tree.
Yes.
You can't be. There is so much peril in being a young person for everyone. And I have never bought into an idea that what makes you feel good isn't enough to get you to your full ambition.
Oh, work.
Work. But the thought that this is good.
Oh, yes, work is fun. It's meaningful.
It's
it gives
the
you
thing.
strength.
Yes. You like this soup?
It's fun working. I mean, not all the time, but yes, a lot. What is your passion at the performing-wise? Well, say what you were going to say.
I was going to say, there's your job, and there's what you like and what is good. So I'm privileged that I get to work at something that I chose that is good. And most of my decisions, because of the education I had otherwise, in my art form, I never had to make. In like compromise.
Yes.
My music, I was able to just kind of do what I want to do because I can be a secretary, and I was. And I had a wonderful coach, Warren Wilson, who was a friend of Martina's, a very good friend of Martina Arroyo, and Shirley Verrett, who was another teacher that I had. And before her, Hilda Harris, and Adele Addison. I think I was the most greedy student ever. David Jones. who worked with Shirley Verrett.
Would you advise someone coming up to have that attitude?
Yes.
And what else would you advise them?
Other than a really incredible focus inward, to understand that you can't get there alone. I fear for young people when I hear them say a sentence like, I didn't come here to make friends, right? Okay, but let's crack that open a little bit, because even someone you may not include as a friend can change your life, can help you, can carry you along, can bring you and expose you to something you can't even imagine. And it's important not to shut people out, and you have to work hard at that. I struggle with that. But like with my kids, everything they had to struggle with the most, you notice it becomes like a thing that they actually get really good at and they can do in a time of trouble.
Yes.
Because it's learned. It wasn't like something that they just, oh, I don't know, I'm just funny. No, but if you study comedy and you've heard all the comics that you know that you are in the tributary line of, and you know what you're talking about, you know the history of the words, in a clutch, something will come out. It could be brilliant because you worked at it. You're not just funny.
So people you don't like, you're still cordial to. I think
Oh my gosh.
Say.
Yes. Well, first of all, if they don't like me, they probably have a pretty decent reason, even if they made it up. So I'm not trying to tangle with people with a good imagination for their own suffering. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, they're great at suffering and they're great at having oppositional play. Some people just, I now know, some people just need to have a person they don't like.
Right.
They just need that to get through the day. That's what motivates them.
Right.
And they need to be the person to say, thank you for this award, and everyone who didn't believe in me. That's kind of a script in their head, and they can't wait to serve it out. And that is fine. Because it doesn't take everybody to help you get where you're going. It takes someone to help you.
Alicia, I'm so glad. We've learned a lot from Alicia, a lot. First of all, it's good to have a mother who takes a knife to time, you know, so that you really focus well. Secondly, she has a wonderful work ethic. Thirdly, she understands one of the most important lessons in human life, and that is the human bond back and forth. You saw in the early part, she watched me, or my hand flicked. She took her cue from me about be more specific. So it isn't just one way, you're in dialogue your whole life with everybody on everything. Some more successfully, some less. But be, as she says, Greedy, be open to what you can learn, because believe me, you can learn it all the time, and I am still learning, which is always a good thing, I say. But also, make people responsible for their time and their success, to know that when you work and you get in a clutch, as she says, you're able to draw on what it is you know to react. Are you a person, she didn't say it, but I kind of divide the word, are there people who run towards things when they blow up and they have to be handled, or run away? It's good to be a participant. She's a great participant, and she finds what works in herself and others. And remember, she told us something really very interesting. When you get into a blues period, it is a resource for you, whether you write or you sing or you express it in some kind of way. Acknowledge it, own it, release it, and go back to your rest of your life. And so join me next week. I loved having you here, and I loved talking with you, Alicia. Real treat.
This was wonderful. Thank you so much.
To contact Junia, send her an email at juniadownsthespark@gmail.com. For more information, program schedules, and news about future guests, go to www.juniadownthespark.com. Thank you for joining us. See you next time on Junia Doan's The Spark.
Local productions on QTV are made possible with support from viewers like you. Thank you.